What is the deal with Ethereum, ladies and gents? It is sitting at $3,200. It's doing okay, but against Bitcoin, this coin has died. If we just take a look at it, just over the last month since the end of May to today, it's lost 40% of its value against Bitcoin in about 5.5 months. And against the dollar, it's doing okay, but really what this is telling us is that against, Bitcoin is performing significantly better than Ethereum right now, and that means you're kind of getting left behind if you're holding Ethereum, and a lot of people are frustrated by this. A lot of people are frustrated that they're in the safer, better coin, but meme coins are pumping, for example, and we're going to be addressing all of that in this YouTube video, so smash up the likes if you are excited for that, and while you are down there, if you're interested in trading Ethereum and other markets, Bybit and Blofin are the best places to be, and you're going to get a ton of free cash to trade with after you deposit and start trading on these links. So check them out if that sounds good to you. If you're not from a restricted region, if you are allowed to buy low in your country, well worth checking them out. Really, really cool offers there. But here's the deal with Ethereum, ladies and gents. It punched in that high at 4.9. It managed to fall all the way down to 890, and from that point until current price, Ethereum's only up by 250%, which is a 3.5 times gain, and that is shit. That is a very, very poor performance for Ethereum, because if we compare this to Bitcoin, very, very quickly, we're going to see that Bitcoin has managed to rise up by 477%, which is a 5.7 times gain. And so Ethereum has significantly underperformed compared to Bitcoin so far. But ladies and gents, I'm here to tell you that that is completely normal. This is extremely normal for Ethereum, and throughout its history, it's actually done this so many times where it's underperformed so poorly and then just absolutely skyrocketed afterwards and stolen so much value off Bitcoin. I'm going to show you how and why that happens. But the reason I speak so confidently about this is because Ethereum was actually my very first trade going all the way back to 2017. It was the first trade I ever took. It was a massive loss. I bought at like 300, sold it at $80. It's hilarious. But it's a very intimate coin to me for that reason, and I've traded it incredibly well. Right now, as we speak, I'm in some incredible positions, which I've been telling you guys about as well. Take a look at this right here, 3,300% on my Bitcoin position. Take a look at that, over $200,000 in profit secured over there. My TRX position and over 1,000% profit. And I opened a brand new BNB position today where I made about 40 grand. Unfortunately, that position has rocked back down to break even, so I only ended up closing some small profits on it while it was open. But very, very good performance nonetheless. Like I said, great links down there if you want to take advantage of them. And here's the thing about Ethereum is that if we compare Ethereum to Bitcoin on our very, very big market cycles, we're going to start seeing something extremely interesting. Oh, it's so cool. You're going to love this. So if we take a look at this Ethereum chart here, let's just do it on the weekly, and then let's grab a Bitcoin chart as well. On this side, what we're going to see very quickly is that when Ethereum really starts rallying, like for example, let's just take this rally right here. This is the big move up for Ethereum that really comes in here, right? I mean, from low to high, this is an 82% move, and it takes 42 days. And you can see how Bitcoin has already been rallying for months before that, right? If we kind of measure it up to roughly the same point, Bitcoin has been rallying for 440 days, performing amazingly. That's up by 163%, whereas Ethereum up to that same point is also up by 160%, but it's a significantly smaller coin, and so you would expect significantly more upside, right? If you've got a smaller coin matching the gains of Bitcoin, then something is really wrong, because this coin should be able to move a lot faster. That's why we look at them in the first place, right? Because we have more upside in those coins. And so what we see is that at the beginning of this kind of bull cycle here, where Bitcoin had bottomed out and Ethereum had bottomed out, Bitcoin is way faster to pick up the pace at the very beginning, but Ethereum kind of picks it up at the end, right? The last phase of this pump right here, this is kind of the last phase where we go from, this was the ETF pump. Bitcoin went from a price level of about 40,000 all the way up to 74. This was the very, very last stretch of the pump. It was also the biggest stretch of the pump, and that's where Ethereum really wakes up, right? You can really see it quite clearly performing much stronger from that point onwards. Again, from low to high, you're looking at 82%, and that only takes 46 days, 42 days, and on this side, 600 days, and it's only up by 160%, right? So you're moving significantly faster in the late stage of the bull market. That was an okay example. I wouldn't say it was super clear, but it's good enough. But this one's kind of crazy. So take a look at this. So Bitcoin bottoms out down here And then it really starts kicking off over here. But Ethereum really kind of wakes up over here. And this is a really interesting chart now, because if we draw the same line on Bitcoin's chart, take a look at this. This line right here, we're going to make it a nice big yellow line, super nice and thick. And we're going to do the same thing right here, because this is such a big deal what we're about to dive into, ladies and gents. And smash the likes up if you are finding this useful. I'm all about kind of talking to you about the absolutely critical, in-depth ways that these markets work. I want you to understand them in and out. I want you to understand it better than you understand yourself, better than you understand your wife. You need to understand this market better than all of that shit, because you're going to dominate it, ladies and gents. This is your year. This is the crypto bull market, ladies and gents. You're here. You're here at the beginning of it. You're not the retail coming in late. If you fuck this up, we're in deep shit, ladies and gents. So we're not interested in that. We need to get this right. And that's why we're going to understand this shit from A to Z. It's not just about which coin do I buy and get a 30% move on, or which coin is the next 10x. Forget that. If that's you, get the fuck off this YouTube channel. It's not for you. We're not doing shit like that here. We're looking for deeper understandings of this market, and that's exactly what we're bringing here. So smash up the likes, double check you're subscribed for that if you do appreciate that stuff. If we take a look at this beautiful big red line, orange, yellow line right here, what we can see is that Ethereum really starts to kind of wake up right here on this yellow line and starts to absolutely shoot up, right? I mean, before this, nothing really particularly interesting was happening on Ethereum's chart. And if we measure what that price move represents, that is a 525% move, right? And that's super, super impressive. But look, that's right at the last stages of Bitcoin's bull market. If we just move this line a little bit so they're matching up, this is the very, very end of Bitcoin's bull market, right? I mean, Bitcoin had been trending up since this green line. It had been aggressively trending up since this green line. And so, for this whole period, and this is what's really interesting, is for this whole period, this is 66 days. What was Ethereum doing? Well, if we measure this going back 66 days, well, we're going to see putting down a vertical line there, and let's just make this green like the other one, and a normal line. What we're going to see is that, Ethereum was moving, right? I mean, Bitcoin did a lot in this time. Let's really zoom into this and understand what happened in these price ranges, okay? Because this is super important. What we can see is that, Bitcoin was moving up quite nicely. I mean, compared to where Bitcoin started off in this range, we're looking at, an $11,000 Bitcoin moving all the way up to a $23,000 Bitcoin. And, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It's a big coin, and it's the leader of the market. And so for it to, more than double in just 60 days, in just 2 months, that is incredibly aggressive price action, ladies and gents. You really can't fade that. And if we take a look at Ethereum during the exact same time period, it's just not moving. And so, you're really starting to see some parallels between the current market cycle where we are now and what we saw back in previous bull runs. Ethereum only managing to pull off a 75% move in the exact same time frame. Clearly, it's significantly weaker than Bitcoin at this time, because like I said, you want these coins, if they're smaller, you want them to be significantly outperforming Bitcoin. I mean, if Bitcoin's pulling 100% gain, Ethereum should be seen at minimum a 2 or 3x. A minimum of a 3 or 4x, because this is a Bitcoin 100% move is a 2x, right? Well, plus 100% is the same as a multiple of 2. And so Ethereum should be at least at a multiple of 3 or 4, in my opinion, for that to be, something that makes sense. But it's not there. You can see it very, very clearly. It's super slow to pick up. Bitcoin starts to enter the late stage of its bull run, and this is where Ethereum really starts to wake up. Look, this is where Bitcoin punches in its all-time high. And if we look at Ethereum and put that same vertical line down on this chart, let's see where that vertical line should be placed. Wow, we have to really zoom out for this, don't we? Let's see. This is where Bitcoin reaches its all-time high. And Ethereum, it just keeps on going. So, you can clearly see that at the very, very beginning, Ethereum isn't doing too much. Ethereum's really not that interesting. But as you start to get to that later stage of the bull market, where in this case, there's only 4 months left in the bull market. Only 4 months left. We entered a depression, and then we had a mini bull market again. But, that was kind of the end of the bull season, really. At least, the legitimate, quick upward price action, blue sky territory breakouts, the kind of environment that we're in now. This was the end of it for Bitcoin, and it only lasted 114 days for Bitcoin. And that's exactly when Ethereum goes up. So you got to keep in mind, ladies and gents, we're not talking about a lot of time here. We're talking about, 3 to 6 months, let's say, of incredibly bullish price action for Ethereum. But this is the time where things just get crazy, because up until this green line right here, if we measure Ethereum, Ethereum in and of itself already manages to pull off a 350% move, which is a 4.5 times gain, and that is very, very good. That's exactly what I said I'm looking for, is, a 3 to 4x gain. But from this low to the absolute high, Ethereum actually manages to pull off a 675% move. Okay, so that is a 7.7 times gain. And now we're talking about something a hell of a lot more interesting. We bring it back to the Bitcoin chart, and in the same time frame, Bitcoin's only pulling off a 200% move. So you can see that later stage of the bull market is where Ethereum really, really shines. This shit that happens down here, who cares about it? This is where we are right now. Clearly, this is where we are right now. It's where Ethereum has been in every single market cycle before, and it's where it is right now. I mean, what the hell do you expect? This is exactly what we would expect in this market, and the actual psychology behind this is way more interesting than anything I've shown you so far. I know I've just blown your mind, but wait for this. This is the important part. What we see are people making money in Bitcoin, okay? When everybody is posting their P&L screenshots and everybody's making money and everybody's getting a Lambo and everybody's getting their X back and everything's beautiful, all of a sudden, everybody's got a little bit more cash, okay? Take a shot every time I say that word. Everybody's got a little bit more cash. They're getting a little bit more greedy. They're looking for more money. And most importantly, there's a lot of confidence now, right? You're talking about traders that have made a lot of money. They're at all-time highs in terms of their portfolio. They're feeling like they're on cloud nine, ladies and gents. They want more and they feel smart enough to get it. And so naturally, all of that money is going to start flowing down into smaller asset classes, okay? And the only small asset class after Bitcoin is Ethereum, right? That's the next cryptocurrency. And so Ethereum is always going to be that kind of later stage, right? When all of that euphoria has had a bit of time to settle in, when most of the price moves have happened for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin from this point had managed to go up from $3,000 all the way up to about $23,000, okay? So that's a very, very big price move. I mean, 23 back up to 70, that you're talking about like a 3-4x, but 3k to 23, that's a crazy gain. That's like a 6 times gain right there, or 7. So very, very strong price action at the beginning for Bitcoin. But as the market has a little bit of time to digest that, it's going to get more interested in opening up that risk appetite. And that's why we see that when Ethereum starts pumping, I can take this a level further with you guys. Take a look at this. So we're stuck on this Ethereum chart here. Let's go ahead and remove all of these lines now that we've proven that point really well. And by the way, if you did find that useful, make sure you smash those likes up. And like I said, best places to trade are down in the description below. Helps the channel out. And more importantly, much more importantly, it's going to put a slam dunk in your crypto account wallet and just absolutely load you up and get you ready for more trades and just give you more free money, right? I mean, any profits that you make with that capital are going to be yours to withdraw, and if you lose the money, then fuck it. It's part of a big company that's losing it. Who cares? It's not your problem. It's literally not your loss. So check it out if you're interested, but only if you're not from a restricted region, only if you are allowed to, because obviously that's important. But if we drop this nice horizontal line right here and then take a look at a beautiful chart called Total 3, what we're actually going to see is the rest of the crypto market excluding Ethereum, okay? And this is where this gets really interesting, because it's one thing for me to tell you guys everything that I'm saying, but it's another thing for you to just have your mind blown once again. So let's just go ahead and drop a vertical line where it was on Ethereum. What you're going to see here is that the Total 3 market actually continues to move up as well. Actually, to be fair, Ethereum's moving up at the same time. So if we take a look at this, we're going to see, one second, let me select this chart. We're going to see, oh my God, what have I done? I did not know that that's possible. There we go. And then we drop the same line here. We're going to see, to be fair, we did top out at the same time, actually. We did top out at the same time. But what you're going to see are much, much more gains. You're actually going to see Ethereum even losing dominance. That would potentially be a better chart to show here. But take a look at this. I think this is a really, really interesting example. You can actually see it visualized super, super well. So we've got a couple of key peaks here, which are very, very interesting. And I want to focus your attention on them. So let me go ahead and show you what these peaks are. On Total 3, there's 1, 2, and 3, and on Ethereum we're getting 1, 2, and 3. And what's really interesting, see, points 1 and points 3 are both the same, but point 2 illustrates my point perfectly. Where Ethereum starts rallying higher, after a little bit of time, altcoins start having their turn to go crazy. And what we see is that this second peak that these two markets punch in, right? The second peak on Ethereum and the second peak on Total 3 are in very different places. For Ethereum, Ethereum's not able to get that high on its second peak. For Total 3, it's actually punching in a higher high. Total 3 is actually trending up, while Ethereum's chart isn't quite sure what's going on. It's a really interesting difference because Total 3 represents way more risk. Total 3 is everything in the market except for Bitcoin and except for Ethereum, right? So if we're seeing that overall the altcoin market is more bullish than Ethereum, then clearly it must mean that Ethereum has given all of that strength to the altcoin market, the same way that Bitcoin gave its strength to Ethereum, right? You see all that money going out of Ethereum and then into the altcoin market. Because here's the thing, while you're in Bitcoin and you're in the late stage of the bull market, now some motherfucker's on Ethereum with a much bigger P&L screenshot than you, so you're going to start putting your money in Bitcoin, right? And then you get into Ethereum, and then some other motherfucker's got a much bigger P&L screenshot than you, and he's in Solana, or he's in FTM, or he's in whatever the hell you want to call it. He's certainly not in XRP, because XRP doesn't go up, but he's in some other altcoin, and then you're like, wait, hang on a minute, I want to take even more risk, and you can see very clearly how that's represented in the market, where Ethereum can't punch in a higher high, but Total 3 does. And so that's a really, really strong display of the psychology at work in these markets, and that's totally logical, right? We can predict this. We knew that that was logical before I even showed you these charts, and I think that's the way to really visualize these markets. When you really start to look at these markets that way, you're going to be in a much stronger position. Now, before we round this off, we can't finish this off without talking about Bitcoin's dominance and without talking about the Ethereum BTC chart. So we're going to be taking a look at those two things now. If we take a look at Bitcoin's dominance, it is doing very, very well. It swept its high that it punched in a few days ago. It had this very, very small drop here. Everybody and their grandmother was just creaming themselves with excitement and euphoria that their altcoins are finally up by 15%, back to where they were 8 weeks ago on their downtrend that's lasted 2 years. Everyone was so excited, and now all of that's gone. All of these altcoins are actually up. The altcoins are still up against the dollar, but Bitcoin is up much more. And so again, you're taking a lot more risk on these shit coins, but you're not even enjoying the upside for it. And to me, that math just don't check out. The numbers don't number, mate. But if we take a look at these highs getting swept, we are potentially now going to be on the way to 70% Bitcoin dominance. Now, there is definitely a zone of kind of fake out territory here, which is probably worth keeping in mind, right? I mean, we have seen a couple of wicks all the way as high as 62, 63% here, so that's going to be important, but I don't want to focus on that too much because I'm not even, that firm on predicting a 70% Bitcoin dominance. It's very extreme. I mean, it would be great if we got it. The higher, the better, but because it would mean that, what goes up must come down, right? That fall is going to be so big, and it's just going to be so much money going into this. You would make much more money, put it that way. You would make much, 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 much more money if Bitcoin's dominance went up that high. But like I said, it is a very extreme level. I don't know if it's going to happen, and quite frankly, it doesn't matter because Bitcoin's dominance is already astronomically high, okay? We're talking about, an asset here that's now worth $1.8 trillion, and it's got 60% dominance in the market. So if that just drops down to 20%, I mean, what does that represent in terms of market cap? That represents $300 billion, which is the entire size of Ethereum nearly. So, that's twice the size, more than twice the size of Tether. That's 3 times the size of Solana flooding into the rest of the altcoin market potentially, right? So, and that's without assuming that the market even grows any further. So, I mean, the gains would just be insane. You wouldn't be able to believe them because the rest of the, people don't understand just how small the rest of the crypto market is compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, literally 60% of it. I mean, that is just enormous. And if it does keep on rising, that is going to keep taking value away from these altcoins. And that's what puts this Ethereum Bitcoin chart in a little bit of jeopardy right now because it has been trending down for a very, very long time. It came back up for that kiss of death right here. This is one of the worst things that's happened on Ethereum's chart in a while. And I really don't know. I mean, I was expecting Ethereum to keep dropping, but this is pretty bad, to come down this low, below your support zone, 15% below, and then you rally really hard. You rally 18% straight into resistance for a rejection. That is savage, and that's exactly what's happened to Ethereum here. And so if it does sweep that low, you're back down into negative price discovery mode almost, where it could be trending significantly lower. Yeah, I do have support drawn out here at kind of 0.3 BTC per Ethereum token, and I would love to see Ethereum respond to that level. but I'm not so sure because of how much steam this Bitcoin dominance reading has. With that said, I'll be honest, guys. I mean, I'm not here in the business of kind of predicting tops and bottoms, right? Because I'm not going to do it properly. I'm very, 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 very bad at predicting tops, and I'm not great at predicting bottoms either. I'm much better at the meat in between, and thank God for that, because there's way more money to be made in between. And so because of that, I don't want to get too bogged up in, saying when exactly Ethereum is going to bottom out against Bitcoin, because what I do feel quite certain about is that, whatever price this is right now against Bitcoin, I don't think Ethereum is going to be here in a year. I think Ethereum is probably going to be significantly higher than 0.35 BTC per token. I would expect Ethereum to be maybe 0.6 BTC per token, for example. But the thing that's really beautiful about that is that's a really big number, right? I mean, we're talking about a 2 times gain effectively, or close to it, maybe an 80%, 70% gain. But that's really powerful because, to me, that's almost like free Bitcoins, because if I put 1 Bitcoin in and then, it goes up to, let's say, 0.7 BTC per token, I'm going to walk away with 2 BTC. And it's not easy to make, to turn 1 Bitcoin into 2 Bitcoins, right? It's not the easiest thing in the world. But with Ethereum, I get to do it in a market that's existed since, before like even 2016. I think Ethereum's been around since like 2015 or 2014. So I get to do it in a coin that's like damn near 10 years old, so definitely stood the test of time, and something which, probably, given that it's done it every time so far, including just earlier this year, it's probably going to lead the altcoin market. It's probably going to be the next one that pumps immediately after Bitcoin, right? I'm just, all I'm doing here is I'm just expecting that the status quo, the things that have been happening since, the beginning of crypto, or at least the beginning of Ethereum, I'm just expecting that shit to continue, right? I'm not saying anything else that's crazy. And I think that's totally reasonable. I think these are really reasonable speculations to be making. And so because of that, I don't know exactly when this chart is going to bottom, but I do feel like we're going to be higher. And this is where I'm kind of interested in starting to DCA because of that. Again, this stuff gets really interesting on Bybit because you don't even have any spot trading fees here. You could just buy and sell coins as much as you like all day long, and you're never going to pay a fee for it in terms of spot trading fees here, which is very, very impressive on Bybit. Obviously, Blowfin just gives you a ton of free cash in your account quite easily compared to other exchanges as well, I'd say. So check them out. Again, those of you who have signed up to any of these, you're not going to get any of the bonuses until you start trading. So they do need you to deposit and start trading. That's how they kind of filter out bounty hunters. But if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then it's well worth checking out, again, if you're not from a restricted region. But like I said, guys, this Bitcoin chart, I don't know how much lower it can go. It obviously could go, to quite abysmally low levels, especially if Bitcoin's dominance does start to reach levels like 70%. I don't know if I would necessarily bank on that. And I don't even think it matters that much anyway, because I still think Ethereum could be getting higher than this later on. So moral of the story, moral of the video, ladies and gents, is that I get that this is frustrating. I don't know how much longer the wait is going to be, but I fully expect that Ethereum is going to do what it does every single time, and that the wait is going to be worth it. And the number one thing I can guarantee you is that the minute you sell is the minute that Ethereum is going to start pumping. Don't blame me. Don't shoot the messenger. I don't make the rules, but I know that you know that I'm correct. This is how the markets always are. The minute that you sell your shit, it's going to pump. The minute that you buy, it's going to start dipping. That's just how the market works. So don't trigger it. Let someone else sell their Ethereum. Not financial advice, do whatever the hell you like, but funny joke nonetheless. And I will see you all in the next video. So if you have enjoyed this one, you know exactly what to do. Hit up those likes, subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. A ton more analysis coming out for you guys, including live streams and so on. So I can't wait to share that with you. But I'm going to see you all in the next one. Cheers. Bye.